Imagine standing at the edge of a vast desert, wind whispering across the sand, stars glinting above like ancient eyes watching from the void. Now imagine that same wind replaced by the thunder of a 400-foot-tall stainless steel rocket lifting off under its own immense power. This isn't just science fiction, it's happening now. This is the age of Starship. The vehicle that could, for the first time in history, make space not a distant frontier reserved for a few elite astronauts, but a reachable, livable destination for thousands. What if we told you that in your lifetime, humans may walk the red sands of Mars, build cities beneath lunar craters, and return home again, not just once, but again and again? Starship is not just a rocket. It is the door to a future that has long lived in our imagination, now swinging open with fire and steel. Born from the relentless ambition of SpaceX, Starship is unlike anything the world has seen. Towering over every rocket ever built, this behemoth is designed to be not just powerful, but revolutionary. Its immense height, combined with the sheer thrust of its super-heavy booster, makes it capable of lifting more mass to orbit than any vehicle in history. But what truly sets Starship apart isn't its size, it's what it promises to do. This rocket isn't meant to fly once and be discarded. It's built to return. To land. To refuel. To fly again. Over and over. Just like airplanes. That concept, reusability, has the potential to change everything. Reusability has been the dream of aerospace engineers for decades. If you could land a rocket safely, clean it up, and fly it again, you'd cut launch costs by a factor of 10, or even more. SpaceX already proved this concept with the Falcon 9. But Starship takes that to a completely different level. This is full-stack reusability. A two-stage, 100-plus-ton payload, human-rated system that lands both its booster and upper stage after every flight. The implications? Profound. Instead of costing hundreds of millions per mission, access to space could cost just a few million, or even less in the long term. Suddenly, sending large payloads to orbit isn't just doable, it's practical. Imagine what that means. Space stations the size of cities. Space telescopes larger than football fields. Massive solar arrays powering colonies on the moon. With Starship, what once required decades of effort and billions of dollars might now be accomplished in months. Scientific research, national defense, global communications, all could ride on the back of this mighty machine. For commercial companies and national space agencies alike, Starship offers something priceless: flexibility and affordability. It democratizes space in a way we've never seen before. Consider satellite deployment. Today, every kilogram launched to orbit carries an enormous price tag. That means smaller spacecraft, fewer instruments, tighter budgets, and more limitations. But Starship changes that equation completely. Its cavernous payload bay could carry entire constellations of satellites in a single trip. Universities, startups, and developing nations might finally have access to meaningful space infrastructure. The playing field shifts. The gatekeepers are gone. And it doesn't stop with Earth orbit. Starship is designed for deep space. With its powerful Raptor engines and in-orbit refueling capability, it can go farther and faster than any ship we've ever built. This is the rocket that could carry humans back to the moon, this time to stay. It's the rocket that could build permanent bases on Mars, where supplies can be shipped en masse, habitats delivered in a single launch, and teams rotated like Antarctic researchers. It's not just a vehicle, it's a logistics system for the solar system. Now picture this: a convoy of starships departing Earth orbit, their silver hulls gleaming against the darkness, bound for Mars. Inside, not just astronauts, but scientists, engineers, doctors, and even artists, all carrying with them the hope of a new world. With enough room for dozens of passengers and cargo, Starship could turn Mars missions from cramped survival tests into actual colonization efforts. And on the red planet's surface, those ships could serve as shelters, labs, storage units, or even greenhouses. They're not just transport, they're infrastructure. But this vision isn't just about going far, it's about going often. That's where Starship's rapid launch cadence becomes key. Unlike traditional rockets that take months to prepare, Starship is designed to turn around quickly. Clean, refuel, refly. Imagine weekly launches. Then daily. Eventually, the goal is for spaceflight to be as routine as air travel. Just think of the implications. Space tourism becomes more than a fantasy, it becomes a business. Moon bases go from dream to destination. Earth-to-Earth travel becomes viable, turning a 12-hour flight into a 45-minute suborbital hop. The moon itself becomes not just a target, but a stepping stone. Starship could make lunar bases routine. Its landing system, designed to softly touch down on dusty regolith, has already been selected by NASA for the Artemis missions. That means Starship will likely carry the next humans to the moon, possibly including the first woman and the first person of color ever to walk on the lunar surface. And with it comes the ability to deliver not just humans, but rovers, habitats, drills, life support systems, everything needed to live, not just survive, on the moon. And then there's science. The kind of science that can only happen when you have room to carry the instruments you need. Astrophysics missions could launch telescopes capable of peering deeper into the universe than even the James Webb. Planetary scientists could study asteroids and comets up close, deploying landers and sample return craft in missions once thought too large to fund. Imagine sending a geology lab the size of a shipping container to the moon, or an observatory to the far side for uninterrupted sky watching. With Starship, all of that becomes feasible. And in this push toward accessibility, Starship could even change who goes to space. Until now, space has been the domain of elite government astronauts, exceptional, yes, but also few. In the future, we could see scientists conducting research in lunar labs, artists painting the Earth from orbit, teachers live-streaming lessons from the moon, or doctors studying the effects of microgravity on human biology, not just once, but as part of a permanent human presence in space. Starship could unlock the diversity of experience the cosmos has long lacked. It's also a key to learning how to live off Earth. Long-term missions will require us to produce oxygen, grow food, manage waste, and build structures with local materials. Starship can deliver the tools, the habitat modules, the robotic miners, and the science labs needed to test and refine those systems on the Moon and Mars before we ever consider reaching farther. We're not just talking about flags and footprints anymore. We're talking about survival, sustainability, and even sovereignty on new worlds. And of course, we cannot overlook the human spirit. There's something deep inside us that has always longed to look beyond the horizon. Starship speaks directly to that desire. It doesn't just promise exploration, it offers expansion. A future where humans aren't confined to one planet. A future where we look up at the night sky and say, we live there, too. It's a future where schoolchildren grow up believing they might one day walk on Mars, not as fantasy, but as a career option. All of this rests on the progress being made today. And while Starship's road has been rocky, with explosions, delays, redesigns, and setbacks, each test brings it closer to readiness. Each static fire, each flight, each landing attempt feeds directly into a feedback loop of improvement. SpaceX is building not just one vehicle, but a fleet. A system. A rhythm. And they're doing it in the open, under the eyes of the world. So as we stand at the cusp of this new era, it's worth pausing to reflect on what it truly means. Starship is not just a machine, it's a declaration. That space is for everyone. That we no longer have to accept the limitations of cost, access, or distance. That the future of space travel isn't just about reaching farther, it's about reaching more people. And if this vision feels big, that's because it is. But it's also real. It's happening. Right now, at Starbase. Every welded ring. Every polished heat shield tile. Every Raptor engine being test-fired against the Texas sky is part of that future taking shape. And we, watching from Earth, are not just spectators, we're witnesses to history being written in metal, fire, and vision. As the sun rises over the rust-colored landscape of Boca Chica, engineers and welders begin their day beneath the towering hull of yet another prototype. Each version of Starship is more refined than the last, smoother welds, stronger engines, better heat shielding. These improvements aren't just technical milestones. They are bricks in the road to a future that stretches far beyond Earth's gravity. For all the remarkable things Starship promises to do in orbit and around the moon, its boldest dream lies even farther away, in the direction of a cold, distant, red world named Mars. Sending humans to Mars has long been the stuff of dreams, inked into science fiction novels, spoken of in presidential speeches, and envisioned in endless artist renderings. But now, for the first time, we have a vehicle under construction that could actually take us there. Not decades from now, but within our lifetime. Starship is designed to carry up to 100 passengers in a single launch, enough to send the first real colonists to another planet. These won't be short-stay missions. They're meant to be one-way journeys at first, a commitment to living and building on an alien world. Getting to Mars is only part of the story. What makes Starship remarkable is that it's built to come back. Once refueled using local resources, methane and oxygen extracted from Martian soil and atmosphere, Starship could return to Earth. That changes the narrative from settlement to connectivity. It means that Mars isn't a distant outpost. It's the next continent. And like Earth's early ocean explorers, future astronauts may one day sail that cosmic sea back and forth, carrying knowledge, tools, and hope in both directions. The journey itself won't be easy. Even with Starship's size and power, getting to Mars takes around 6 months. During that time, astronauts will face radiation, confinement, isolation, and the psychological weight of knowing they are 50 million miles away from home. That's where Starship's design begins to shine again. Unlike cramped capsules of the past, Starship has room to stretch, literally. Its upper stage offers open volume that can be customized into living quarters, science labs, medical bays, and communal areas. It's less like riding in a submarine and more like a mobile space station. On the Martian surface, Starship's capabilities unlock a new kind of exploration. Previous landers were tiny, delivering golf cart-sized rovers or minimal scientific payloads. But Starship can deliver bulldozers, drills, life support modules, greenhouses, and entire habitats in a single mission. It's a platform for infrastructure, not just exploration. Imagine a fleet of starships landing in succession, offloading equipment to build pressurized shelters, solar farms, and radiation-shielded habitats. Within a few years, what starts as a camp could become a colony. The science alone is staggering. Mars holds secrets locked in ice and stone, frozen lakes beneath its surface, hints of ancient riverbeds, traces of methane that could point to microbial life. Starship gives scientists the chance to study these mysteries not by remote control, but with boots on the ground. It allows for drilling, sampling, and returning materials to Earth. It provides the tools to test if humanity can terraform, if we can farm in Martian soil, if life ever existed, or still exists, beyond Earth. But even more than the science, this next step challenges us to evolve. It forces us to rethink survival. We will need to learn how to recycle water perfectly, grow food without soil, and endure solar storms without Earth's magnetic protection. Starship is a tool to experiment with these systems in real conditions, helping us prepare for life not just on Mars, but anywhere beyond. It's the training wheels for interplanetary civilization. Yet the journey doesn't end with Mars. Starship's design opens doors to even more distant frontiers. With in-space refueling, longer journeys become possible. Missions to the outer planets, to moons like Europa, Titan, or Ganymede, each with its own unique chemistry and potential for life, suddenly move from science fiction to scientific planning. Starship could carry orbiters and landers to these distant worlds, enabling decade-long studies powered by nuclear reactors and solar sails. And what we find there could reshape our understanding of biology, chemistry, and planetary evolution. Imagine a future where a Starship delivers a cryogenic observatory to orbit Saturn, or where multiple ships help assemble a massive telescope on the dark side of the Moon. The ability to launch large, heavy, and complex payloads opens a door for megaprojects that were once thought too expensive or technically impossible. We could finally deploy kilometer-wide sun shields, artificial gravity habitats, or even interstellar probes. And it's not just about machines. People are central to this vision. Starship isn't a freight truck, it's a vessel for humanity's expansion. Just like the steamships that once carried settlers across the oceans, it will carry our languages, our cultures, our music, our memories. Imagine a poet writing from orbit, a musician recording in low gravity, or a teacher delivering a lesson from the rim of Shackleton Crater on the Moon. Starship doesn't just make space travel possible, it makes it human. And with humanity come new challenges. How do we govern on another planet? Who owns the resources mined from an asteroid? What rights do colonists have if they're born on Mars? These are questions Starship forces us to ask now, not later. With the potential to make space accessible, it also makes it urgent that we define our ethical frameworks for interplanetary life. It asks us not just how far we can go, but what kind of civilization we want to build when we get there. Meanwhile, here on Earth, the path forward is still under construction, literally. Starbase is expanding rapidly. More launch towers are rising. Ship and booster prototypes are lined up like an assembly line. Each one is a test article, a lesson, a leap. In Florida, similar facilities are being developed at Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center. The vision is to fly regularly from both coasts, with rapid turnaround and high reliability. The challenges remain real. The Super Heavy booster must still prove it can land reliably. The thermal protection system must endure the brutal heat of re-entry. The orbital refueling system must function perfectly for deep space missions to succeed. These hurdles are not small, but they are being addressed with every test, every data point, every weld. SpaceX isn't aiming for perfection overnight. It's aiming for improvement with every iteration. Starship isn't just a rocket, it's a strategy. A strategy to remove the bottlenecks of cost, weight, and access. It's a response to decades of stagnation in launch technology. For too long, space travel has been slow, expensive, and elite. Starship promises something else: speed, scale, and accessibility. It's designed to serve not just one goal, but many: space science, commercial enterprise, military transport, lunar development, and ultimately, multiplanetary settlement. This is the rocket that could bring nations together in orbit. That could carry astronauts from many countries to a shared base on the Moon. That could deliver emergency supplies to disaster zones using orbital hops. That could connect Earth's distant continents in minutes instead of hours. Its impact could extend far beyond science and exploration. It could reshape transportation, communication, diplomacy, and our shared identity as a species. And perhaps most powerfully, Starship reignites imagination. It puts dreams back within reach. Children born today may grow up in a world where space is part of daily life. Where trips to orbit are as common as overseas flights. Where humanity is no longer earthbound, but spread across worlds. Starship turns what once sounded like science fiction into an engineering blueprint, and that changes everything. So, as the engines roar and steel giants rise, remember that you are living in the dawn of a new era. Every flight test, every booster recovery, every tank test is a thread being woven into the fabric of the future. This is not just Elon Musk's dream. It's a dream for all of us. For everyone who ever looked up at the stars and wondered what's out there. For every scientist who imagined setting foot on another planet. For every teacher trying to explain gravity, or every artist sketching lunar landscapes in a notebook. The path will not be easy. Rockets will fail. Missions will be delayed. Critics will doubt. But with persistence, vision, and the collective effort of thousands of minds, Starship will fly. It will carry us not just to orbit, not just to the Moon, but farther than any generation before could truly imagine.